Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Iron Man 2020 Issue 1. And I really enjoyed this one. This was a great start to this new period where we're seeing Arno Stark is the lead Iron Man. And we say the lead Iron Man because as we learn in this issue, there's kind of more than one Iron Man going around at this point. And I just like how they're doing this from the old school kind of like 2020 Arno kind of thing and taking it and actually really running with this because Arno's an interesting character and I've always been wondering how certain writers would use him and kind of what direction he'd kind of go. And we get a very clear sense of how he's going to be used in this series because we start off and we see that there is a reason Arno Stark is kind of more of an assholish persona than kind of Tony. Now, granted, Tony has had time to kind of grow as a character, so that way he's not as big of a throbbing asshole as he's usually been. Here, we see that Arno Stark has learned that there's an extinction level entity that is going to like consume the AIs that people have created and consume people as well for some nefarious purpose. And we see him kind of waking up from this nightmare and figuring out that all the stuff that he's like used the Stark technology for picks up like the kind of faintest of hints that this entity is coming, and that of course folds into the whole robot revolution because this entity is going to be targeting AIs and robots first. So there's a reason he takes a harder kind of stance on the AI than you would think. And we see him walking around. We see that his parents are like, "Hey, thank you for bringing us back, but can we like go outside and everything?" And we see that Arno is still kind of pissed off for what his parents did to him. And like, "Oh yeah, it'd be kind of bad to be kind of like locked away and everything and not being able to go outside." And they're like, "But we had to do it because you were sick and everything. We had to put you in that contraption." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And we see that throughout some of the dialogue of like he hates sleeping because he has been confined all this time and he wants to use all of his time effectively. So he gets a call from Sunset and that he has to go deal with some stuff and he suits up in his new Iron Man armor and it's of course modeled off of one of Tony's previous armors, and of course it looks like the armor that Arno Stark was introduced with, and it's just a nice looking armor. Now granted, the bleeding edge is always going to be kind of my favorite. Well, Extremis was before, and then the bleeding edge was just that awesome natural evolution, but I do like the look and how it is drawn in here because the art just does it so perfectly. When you're doing an Iron Man comic, you have to nail how the armor looks and how it moves and how it fights. And this art just really gets that because he has to go off and pretty much go to a construction site and deal with some rogue robots. Now, granted, it's the construction robots being led by Nick Fury LMD, so it's like, oh crap. They're like being like, yeah, you force us to do the work that you bio ones don't want to do and everything. And just seeing Arnold be like, all right, I'm giving you a choice. Stop your shit or I slag your ass, pretty much. It's like, screw you. And he's like, all right. And he even like blew off one of their heads and they start going at it. He's like, fine, whatever you chose, slag. And he's able to get the situation under control. There was only one person at the site. And the person talking was like, hey, I'm just glad that my worker got out of there okay. And then, of course, we get to a scene that's like talking about all this different kind of stuff. Arno, of course, gets asked about Tony, of course, giving us the information that it's like an artificially constructed body and an AI, artificial intelligence brain. So he's like, sadly, my brother's dead. And we get like all these other things. We get Janet being like, no, that's Tony Stark. And of course, I don't know where he's at, but I hope he's okay. And they even ask Rhodey, and Rhodey is dealing with like robot stuff on his own. He's in the middle of a battlefield, and there's like reporter dude. Well, not in the middle of a battlefield. It's kind of like the stuff's not completely going on at the moment, but like Rhodey's like, I'm doing shit right now, and if I knew where Tony Stark was, I'd be fucking doing stuff with Tony Stark right now. Okay, and it's just kind of funny. We of course get the kind of TMZ ish where we see what appears to be Tony just like going off and all that. It's like, yeah, okay, that's. They even call him out. He's like, fuck you guys. He's like drinking and stuff coming out of a liquor store. It's like, that's not good, but it's interesting if it affects him the same way as regular Tony. We'll have to kind of see how that's brought into effect. It's like, okay, that's not good. And of course, we see Sunset dealing and using it, of course, to do PR, being like, no, Bane in here, me as Bane and Arno, we are carrying on the spirit of Tony Stark with everything going on after we acquired Stark Unlimited. It's like, okay, yeah, fuck you. You just wanted all this shit. So we then get a look inside Stark Unlimited, and he being like, hey, can we see Yokasta? It's like, no, I own her ass now. It's like, that's not good. And Dr. Shapiro's like, that is bull. And then she like goes down and takes the collar off, and we find out that the collar was just the AI, and the cat was like the delivery vehicle. And Bane's like, yeah, we have to draw the line. We're not doing this like, hey, party kind of shit. It's 2020. We are drawing the line between human and AI, and nobody needs to take it so personally. And I'm like, so we then start to shift over, and we start seeing what's going on with, of course, the Uncanny Valley. A raid's executed on there. They even make a reference to that. And, of course, they want to see their papers and everything. People are, like, running out. This one dude tries to run, and, of course, Arno jumps on him. And he's like, all right, tell me where your general is. And it's like, screw that, flipping him off. And I usually don't like the censoring stuff, but it was kind of funny that he's flipping him off, and it's kind of censored camera style, and I'm just like, okay, that's kind of funny. That kind of works. And we see that it then shifts over, and people have been escaped. We see that Aaron Stack, Machine Man, is talking with the LMDs. They're like, they got the Uncanny Valley. What are we going to do, man? It's like, fine, whatever, we got this. Mark is going to be able to make you a new head, dude, so just go and do that. And that they're on the right side of this. They've got the steel in their spines. They're going to be able to get through this. But of course, as they're talking about what to do, he gets called over to watch something, and we see Sunset and Arno have bought this robotics facility where new AI would be coming online, and they blow it up. Of course, Aaron's like, that does not fly with me. Sunset, of course, talks to Arno and be like, wasn't that a little excessive? And this just goes to Arno's the ends justify the means kind of thing. He's very much more of the kind of superior Iron Man and kind of superior Spider-Man kind of thing, where he's like, you could more compare him to kind of a more kind of benevolent Doom, where he will use whatever means necessary to achieve his objectives no matter the cost. He's looking to intentionally incite an emotional reaction in the robots to get them to make a stupid move. Of course, we then see that they decide to have a bomb threat on a hospital and pretty much doing it to take out babies. It's like, holy shit, that's fucked up. And of course, Aaron has a thing going on. They decide to send in a bomb squad robot, and he's like, you don't have to do that. And Aaron actually comes out and has the robot. I'm like, yeah, you can quit your job and shit like that. Fuck that shit. And of course, Arnold's like, stop what you're doing. This is bullshit. We need to join together because there's a threat. And before he's able to even explain his situation, which he should really try and explain that situation to him, because everybody would be like, oh, there's this giant extinction level entity that's going to be coming here. We should get on that shit. But Aaron sets the timer on the bomb. And, of course, Arno is not going to take that chance and decides to fly the bomb up. And when he gets back, he says that the bomb squad people say that Aaron just kind of, like, strolled in. He, like, sauntered in. And they're, like, looking everywhere, and they can't find him. He went into the elevator and went to the 13th floor. But the bomb robot's like, there's no 13th floor. And evidently that's now the code name for this kind of... what should we call it? It's like a hollow deck kind of alternate space. I think it's probably modeled off of the stuff from like the Escape. It's kind of important because you see all these who of all these different kind of robotic characters, which is really kind of cool. And the little bomb robot dude's like, so I guess you're the leader here? He's like, nah, I'm more the field general. And it's like, this is interesting. He's more of a kind of second in command, the kind of public face of this. And he's like, no, we're led by Mark 1. He's like, is that a Mark 1 Iron Man armor? He's like, yeah, I kind of streamlined it and everything. And it's kind of an dated kind of Mark 1 armor. I really like the look of it. And he takes the helmet off, and of course this is the Tony that we've been following and deciding to call himself Mark 1 and saying that it's time for the AI to get what's due to them. And he's got longer hair and everything. It's like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see how this goes. He's leading them. He's making sure that this whole place is set up. It's like, okay, this is a pretty cool and effective way to just like shoot out of the gate. This is a really good, accessible number one to really get people into this, and it's real. I like that it's a good jumping on point for people, but also it continues the stories that we've been seeing before effectively, and it doesn't slow down. It's like, okay, I can't wait to see where this goes and what happens in the next issue. So, yes, all right. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.